All right, here we go. This one is about sellers. So there's lots to get right when you're talking about selling your home and thinking about it. But in my opinion, the top 4 things are the 4 Ps. So that's pricing, presentation, positioning, and people. Let's talk about more of it in just a sec. This is Spilling the Beans, where I talk about the quiet parts of real estate out loud. So the things you should ask, the things you're too shy to ask, and the things you don't even know you should ask. All right, so let's get into it. This one, like I talked about just briefly there, is about selling your home. So yeah, there's plenty of things to get right, a multitude of things to get right as you're bringing your property on the market for sale. But the key 4 things that do actually cover a lot of the campaign as you're getting ready are the 4 Ps. So they were, price, presentation, positioning, and people. So let's talk about the price first, shall we? Because that's it's the first one for a reason. So look, price. There's actually 3 ways to look at pricing as far as I can see. So there's your price, the seller's price. There's the agent's price, which is done via way of a CMA or an appraisal, and then there's the buyer's price. So those 3 things, those 3 price points are going to dictate a lot about your campaign, but also what the property ultimately sells for. So look, we won't get into the method of sale too much over this chat, but the method of sale can dictate your price as well, but really getting the price right. And there are actually 3 ways to price your property. So you can price it high, you can price it above the market, and it doesn't mean you've got an asking price on the property, but when people search online and use different numbers in the online criteria, your property can come up. So you can price it high, and the thinking with that is that you price it a little bit above where you want it and you'll negotiate it down. Problem with that is that you've set it too high, that your most serious buyers don't see the property as value for money. So either it misses their search criteria range, or they see it and just don't see its value for money, so never come along. So that's the real danger with pricing too high, is you can price yourself out of the market very, very easily and very, very quickly, and ruin your campaign really early on. So yeah, look, if you overprice it, you're actually sitting above the market, you're not sitting in the market. So you've got to be careful about that. The next price point is what we call the buyer's price or the buyer's range. So this is arguably setting the property a little bit lower than your expectations, and possibly even a little bit lower than fair market price. So setting it a little bit lower, what you want to achieve with that idea is that buyers see value for money. So buyers are going to offer on your property when they see that value and price meet. So, you know, if you've got a house that you want $1.1 million for, and the fair market price is $1,050,000, and buyer's fair money is $1 million, and you've got it on at $999, then more buyers will see it as good value for money, because it's sitting just a tiny bit, just ever so slightly below where they're looking or below their range. And the idea is you get a whole bunch of people to swoop on it, and that generates competition, and you can far often exceed what would be the fair market price anyway, just through driving competition. The last price that we haven't quite talked about yet is fair market price. So that is probably what your house should sell for, and through the other methods of the other 3 Ps that we're going to talk about, is we can get that price, achieve that price, or ultimately aim for an above market price, so that the way we've created competition for your property and made it stand out compared to the others makes the buyers pay the best price for your property compared to anything else they're considering. Okay, so that's sort of the first P, the price one, taken care of. Very important to get right. Look, where we are here in Whangarei in New Zealand, we don't often price our properties straight out the gate. We often use other methods of sale, so auction or deadline sale or price by negotiation. You know, look, I read the feedback, I look online and things like that, and a lot of frustrations from buyers does come from asking why properties just aren't priced. And I think it's because it's just too important to slap a price on it at the very start, because it's easy to get wrong. You're either going to be too low, too high, and even if you're fair money, because there's a price attached to the property, before people have even seen it, they're going to judge its value for money before coming to seeing what all its attributes actually are. So we just have to be careful around that. Next thing we're going to talk about is presentation. So look, this is vital, and it's easy to get homeowners to do everything. You know, presentation kind of ties into the marketing campaign we run for your property as well, but presentation can be as small as water blasting your driveway, taking all the weeds out of the garden, cleaning the letterbox or replacing it if it's a tired old rusty metal one stuck in the bushes at the front there, because literally the outside of your property and the entrance to your property is the first thing that all potential buyers see. Maybe not online, because we pick a hero shot, we pick a photography session, and we pick a picture that's going to be the hook that gets everyone interested in your property. But when they actually turn up to view it or come to an open home, that curb appeal, that first impression, look, the first impression is the lasting impression. So you want to make sure you get all that right. So presentation can be all of the small things and including the big things as well. So look, if you've already moved out and your house is empty, we often talk to people about staging. Some people don't feel that it's necessary. Other people can really see the value in it. Staging is great because it does lots of things, but the biggest thing it does is help people get clear around the sense of scale for each room. So they might come into a bedroom, say, and be debating if it's a single or a double. If you've got a queen bed, if you've got a double bed in there already, it's obviously a double because it can fit it. But if it was empty, sometimes, funnily enough, rooms actually look smaller if they've got nothing in them. So staging can help set the tone of your property. It can give it a more neutral look around the whole place, so buyers can imagine themselves living in there instead of seeing pictures of little Timmy on the fridge and your wedding photos on the wall and things like that. So having the property vacant, staging it, can really help tell a story, make it more neutral, and invite buyers to imagine themselves living there, as well as what I think is the key part of staging is it gives the property scale. So, you know, does my 3-seater corner couch suite fit in the lounge? Yes, it does, because the lounge that's already in there while the property is for sale, when we're looking at it, is only a little bit smaller than ours, and the corner suite is going to fit right there as well. So that's great to judge the scale of a property and each room because you've got the property staged and dressed. Equally, we have some properties that we bring to market that are exceptionally tidy. The owners have got a great sense of style, and they actually do live as if the house is staged. I often get comments from people coming to the open homes asking who did the staging, and I say this is how it was from the very first time I came to this property and met these guys. So yeah, look, it's really important. Your presentation, you only get one first chance to make a first impression. So you need to do everything you can, even if it's out there scrubbing the garage door, you know, water blasting the driveway, doing everything you can to make your house looking as good as it possibly can. And that's irrelevant to the time of year. It's any time you can do little things to make a big difference. So that's around the presentation of the property. Yeah, and what else is next? The next one might sound a bit weird, it's positioning. So what that covers is actually lots of different things, but positioning in the marketplace. And we hinted at it before because all of these 4 Ps do all tie into each other. So positioning in the marketplace. The key consideration to get a buyer to engage on your property is that buyers want to see value for money. So they're happy to pay a price where value and dollars meet. So if they feel that your property is good value for money compared to what else they've seen, they will engage with it, they'll snap it up. So positioning is very, very important around what else is on the market at the same time. So, you know, if you've got a 4-bedroom home in Carmo and there's only 14 other 4-bedroom homes on the market at the same time, then how are you going to position your property. How are we going to position the property with the plan, the marketing and everything else we do, and the script and the copywriting and the photos? How are we going to position your property to appear to be the best value for money out of everything else that's available? So yeah, positioning is really, really important, and marketing does sit under that umbrella of positioning. So, you know, we have people, not a lot of debate about professional photography because it's so important. Over 80% of people start their searches for properties online. So, you know, it goes without saying that top-notch photography is really, really important. Also floor plans, video, everything you can do to give your home an advantage. So to position it to appear to be better than the competition. So a lot of that can be having information available. So look, we've got really good photos. We're showing it off. The hero shot is fantastic. This is the favorite part of the house. But we're also going to do a video walkthrough because our buyer might not be in town. We're going to do a floor plan because that's become really, really important, especially since COVID times, but now people are busy. So they don't want to spend their whole weekend looking at open homes when they can get the information during the week and make a decision and cut it down to maybe see 4 or 5. And the way we've positioned your property is we want yours to be one of those 4 or 5 that they come and see. So we need to have the information available, we need to tell a good story, we need to have your property engaging with people and putting it in the right spot so that it's the best value for money out there to get the buyers to engage. So yeah, positioning, marketing, all of that good stuff. The last P is the people, right? So look, it's the agent you choose has a big bearing on your property sale. You know, you don't necessarily, there's the thing about know, like and trust, which I do believe to be true, but also I think knowing and trusting is probably more important initially than liking. You're going to like a person if they get you a really great result. So you can build into getting to like somebody, but you can trust them to do a great job early on, and you can know them through their track record or through their activities in the community or through them being in the industry for a little while or knowing them socially, all that sort of stuff. So look, people is the agent. It's also you guys in your position. So as sellers, as people, how committed are you to the process, which is another P. But yeah, look, how committed are you to the process of selling your property? So we applied for a job, we've got the okay, we're going to relocate to Australia next month, we need to sell. So as people, you're committed to the process, you want to get a good result, and the person you've chosen to help you sell your home is really, really important as well. So look, and this business isn't, it's another P, isn't it? This business isn't as much about the property as it is about the people. So look, that's part of the reason why we do this video content early on, is because you get a chance to get to know me. Maybe we've met in the past, maybe we haven't, but through some of what I'm talking about here, you get a sense of knowing me and possibly building a bit of trust. And if you like me or not, well, you might make that decision beforehand as well. But it really is more about the people and less about the property. So we follow those 4 Ps, which is your pricing, your presentation, your positioning, and the people. And all of that is wrapped in the process, which is our bonus P, if you like, to help get you a really great result on your home sale. So look, there'll be more regular videos with the Spilling the Beans. We've covered off a little bit of stuff there, not a lot of surprises in that, to be fair. Look, honestly, everybody knows that it's all about price. People will say, you know, oh, the weatherboards are a little bit old, they're going to need repainting. Yes, but if the price was right, you would pay for that because the house would be value taken into consideration that needs to be done. Or the house is a little bit close to the main road. Yes, we knew that. The road didn't move before we came on the market or after we came on the market, so the price would take care of that as well. So yeah, out of the 4 Ps, we all know that price is the most important thing, and it can be discussed and set up in a variety of ways. And then it was presentation, which also wouldn't be a surprise to you, that the better something looks, the better it's going to do. You know, you go buy a bunch of bananas this afternoon in the supermarket and leave them for a week and they're looking pretty good. Leave them for a month, they're not looking so good. So generally, They're looking their best as they're kind of the cold store at the supermarket, and they're only going to get worse the longer you leave something. So presentation, very, very important. Positioning, if you look at that as the competition isn't really other agents you're choosing to work with, the competition is the other houses that are on the market for sale at the same time as yours. So it's really important to position your property to outmarket the competition and be seen to be the best value for money in the marketplace. So buyers will make their mind up where their value and dollars meet, and they'll happily come and offer on your property. And then the last one, just talked about it, is the people. So, hey look, choose wisely. Hope that's helped. We'll catch up again. Cheers.